Podcast. We're all back this time. We're going to continue some Takeover Tour business. Actually, on the recent episode, I revealed all the details for the 2025-26 Takeover Tour, where I was joined by Colorado Avalanche mascot and Bernie the Snake Bird, and Chicago Blackhawks mascot Tommy Hawk. You two chose to stay off that one. Well, we told you to do it like last year. Now, I can't say to you, last year's format was not planned. Yeah, we're supposed to. Oh, you go tell it out. And, yeah. What we're going to do today is we're going to discuss the dual cities and sort of rate their chances of potentially being expansion teams. Because the big difference between this year's tour and last year's tour is that this year's tour has got some markets being awarded 2 PWHL games compared to 1. And they are Chicago, Denver, Detroit, Edmonton, and Halifax. So 2 stops from last year and 2 first-timers for this year. Now, the Women's Hockey Report did suggest, a few weeks ago that this could maybe happen. Because there were some double headers on the DVDs, and we know that there are some dates in January that are going to be 2 Takeover Tour games. It's the 3rd and the 11th. Okay. Could they both be holding the same city? Yeah, but that's not the case. No. So, what do we feel that this sends? I think it's very, very clear that these 5 are who you're looking at for your next wave of expansion. Now, we know that the PHL is going to be expanding again very soon, and it could either be to 2 to 4 teams. Now, if you're going to do 2, then I think we know who it has to be. You could say Denver and Edmonton. Yes. Well, especially if they're going to go 1 US, 1 Canadian, I would say, it has to be those 2. Yeah. And I know that's going to piss off the other side of Alberta, but what can I do? What can we do? It's not my fault you haven't got enough facilities, Calgary. No, don't stop. It's going to happen. We're going to rile some people. It's what we do. But if it's 4, then would you say Denver, Edmonton, Chicago, and who else? Halifax. 2 US, 2 Canadian. Yeah. And they've done very well with selling out there. Yes, we've already got word that Halifax, all of game 1 has sold out, and game 2 is very close to selling out. We'll just run through each city's games to remind you of that. So Halifax is the first stop on the 7th of 17 when we have, on that day, we have Montreal, Victoire, Burst, Toronto, Scepters. And then the second Halifax stop will be in the new year. That'll be January the 11th. Ottawa Charge, Burst, Boston Fleet. So let's go at Halifax then. Those are the first 2 for Halifax. Now Halifax will be hosting both their games at the Scotiabank Centre. What do we make of Halifax? Because I know nothing about it. I don't know, you nah, we're not really familiar with it. No, we're not really familiar with it either. But clearly, from what I understand, is it does have a rich, like a lot of Canadian cities are pretty. It does have a very rich history when it comes to supporting women's hockey. So that big priority that we have for expansion teams, us 3, that is ticked automatic in an instant, okay? And I just think that it'd be really interesting to have a market like Halifax in the league as a whole for expansion, because not many people are really going to know what Nova Scotia is as a whole, will they? As a province? No. Unless like me, you've watched all of Big Brother Canada, then you're probably not going to know where most of these places are. So I've heard of Nova Scotia, just I'm not really too familiar with it, because we don't, yeah. But yeah, now the arena going to be in the Scotia Bank Centre. It can hold to 11,093 fans. Yeah, so it's a decent size, and I think if we're thinking in terms of expansion and that's the place to go, then I don't see a problem with attendance, because we can Scotia Joy is 7,000 to 8,000 per game. That's fine. Yeah, you can go in these big arenas and draw 7,000 to 8,000. That still would be considered a sellout. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that we don't need to worry about. So, and it is a non-AHL market, and I don't think it's a market that the AHL would even dare consider. So that's, I know, because I've been saying that I really want to see non-AHL markets get awarded teams. So whether that is Milwaukee and Cleveland in the States, it could be Quebec, for example, in Canada, and maybe Halifax as well, because I'm just thinking, with Hamilton, because it's in Ontario, I'm just thinking, have we got too many Ontario teams right now? Yeah, I mean, you just, it's just like, that's my concern with how to get in the team. But I think, yeah. So they have come out in good support, because already those two takeover games are pretty much all but sold out, which is absolutely amazing work. And they've got two great matchups. So the first one is the Big 12 versus Scepters. So you're going to have players like Natalie Spooner, Elaine Chuley, now with the Scepters, now with the Scepters, of course, yes, gotta remember that. Now the Scepters, Marie-Philippe Poulain, Laura Stacey, Amne Desbienne, Ambrose, yep, still there. So there's a lot of superstars already in this first matchup. So I think for a new market as a whole, that is a brilliant first matchup. I think if you're going to try and introduce the PHL to a new market, you ideally need to have a star-studded matchup, a intense rivalry, which we don't really have right now because it's still a young league. Exactly, fair dues. Although the Torrent and Golden Eyes might be thinking about that. Yeah, that could be really interesting, how the Golden Eyes and the Torrent could be the first PHL rivalry in the league, because we don't really see over big rivalries right now, but that's because we are, as I mentioned, we are a young league. We're going to year 3. We are still developing. We're still in the growing phase. So, yeah. Or you have the Reigning World Champions go there. That's what I feel. If you're going to go for a brand new market, those are the kind of matches you want. That's a really good first matchup. And the other one is the Charge and Fleet. Charge versus Fleet is the other one. Okay, well that's an interesting right matchup there, because you're going to have two stars in at Myers, so I think I'm probably going to be Jocelyn to get on Team USA. Oh yeah, because got Griffith for the Charge and Aaron Frankel for the Fleet. Could we see them as the potential netminders for Team USA in Milan? I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with it, but I know some people would say, why not Maddie Rooney? Why not Nicole Hensley? Yeah. Well, those two, Frankel and Fitz, were the two in Prague. Correct me if they were. So you think they're the most likely candidates? Could you imagine if where Fitz was to get the call to go to Milan, and given how the impressive work she did on the PHL last season, that she was like, watch out. Yeah, I think that would give us a really good confidence, especially given how we've got the same group as we had in Prague. Yeah, and I don't think we have any problems about the fans showing up, because clearly they're already proven. Yeah, we want to be involved in this, and I would not be surprised if we hear the "We Won the Team" chants screaming from Halifax. Well, we're gonna get them in Detroit. We're gonna get them in Detroit, and then we're definitely gonna get them in Denver. Did Edmonton do it? I can't remember if Edmonton did it. I don't know. I think Quebec did it, but I think Quebec, we can hear your thoughts loud and clear. Yeah. Yeah. So this is really exciting. I'll be definitely watching the Halifax and Hamilton ones. Yes, as long as they don't clash with any bargains. I need to check the schedules But yeah, I definitely really will watch the Halifax ones because I know nothing about Halifax, and it's clear to me that they are proving to be a serious contender. The fact that the league has given them 2 games over Quebec is what really strikes me, because we know Quebec really wants to get in. Yeah. But Halifax, this could be a curveball. Yeah. But the curveball might have already proved itself if they're already sending out the 2 takeover qualifiers they've received. Yeah. So that's really good news. So Halifax, so a lot of people like me could be thinking, Halifax. Yeah. And yet, here we are, and they're already proving to be a really strong contender. So that's really great news. Yes, we are, I should say, for tie rappers, we are recording this episode on the 14th of November, and the Takeover Tour tickets have gone on sale today. There was a pre-sale last night, and the tickets now have gone on general sale today. So if you want to get some tickets, I would go strike now while the iron is hot. Compared to last year, particularly the Canadian stops. Right, shall we do Chicago next? Because it is one of our stops. Yeah. So we'll do Chicago next. So yeah. So Chicago has its 2 games, both taking place at the All-State Arena, and I'm going to talk more about it in a moment. The first Chicago game is the 21st of December. That is our final game before Christmas, where we'll be hosting the Ottawa Charge. And then the second one is quite late in the tour. The second stop to Chicago is on the... Let me find it. It's on the 25th of March, and that will be the New York Sirens versus Seattle Torrent. So, 2 interesting matchups there. But I want to talk about it first. So, as you know, they're going to the All-State Arena, which is the home of the American Hockey League Chicago Wolves, and it has got quite a huge capacity. Really? Sorry about that. I was doing the teeth there. For AHL standards, that is quite a massive arena. I'm really shocked. I think with AHL, you're looking at like 4,000 as a minimum, and then 10,000 kind of like your top. They've got 16,000. Really? Yeah, that could hold 16,000 people. Wow. So. Yeah. Because I know a lot of people are thinking, why not United Centre? Well, it's the same situation that Detroit and Calgary was in. If a big expansion, not enough room. No. There's too many talents already in there, and that's... Whereas the All-State Arena, the Wolves are the only talents in there. Plus, they've got this brand new practice facility, which is about 30 minutes away. I'm doing an episode on that with Tommy. For another time. So yeah, so I'm hoping to get it out before we have that first stop in Chicago. So practically not too far behind. So a PHL Chicago team could easily do what the Toronto are doing, which is you share both an arena and a practice facility, and it would work. Yeah, it's been an AHL team, AHL team. And we've seen already how the Scepters have done well in Coca-Cola Coliseum, the Big Swat, Sellout, Blast Belt. Those are both homes to AHL teams. So I don't see a problem with that. Now, Chicago, I personally feel, is a huge contender for expansion, and I feel that Chicago, it has got rich history with women's programs, such as the Chicago Mission. Well, we had this conversation back in the summer when we had that news article in the Hockey News. Yes, to talk about potential sites, and I think Chicago was one of them. And I think it's the only one that did that has got one that was mentioned. Yeah, so we know it's got women's programs there. Yeah, so there's no problem there. That's a tip. And if there's an arena there that's viable, there's a practice not too far by. That pretty much ticks all the boxes. And is it downtown? I believe it is downtown. That pretty much ticks all the boxes to me. Okay. That pretty much for me ticks all the boxes. So I think Chicago could really work. It's just, what is your problem? Blackhawks. Is it those glory days of where it was always between the Kings and the Blackhawks, but who's going to go to the Stanley Cup Finals? Is it bringing that bad memories for you, boy? Oh, boo fucking who? Boo fucking who to you? Well, it was not pretty those days. I mean, the Blackhawks in the 2010s. I know. I played them in the 2010 Compass Bars, you know. You did. I played in the 2010 Compass Bars and I got swept by them. So I know what a terror they were like in the 2010s. a lot of people still think the Hawks should not have won 2010. Well, it was a very controversial goal, and of course, obviously, it was against the Flyers, so it was with Hatter's team. It's a very controversial goal. He's gotten over it, which is good for him. But some people might think, really, you're going to cut that? Because it was a delayed reaction. I know that happens, it's always carnage in hockey. But the Blackhawks were terrors. And do we really need a women's version of that? No. Well, I don't want a women's version of Vegas, but they seem keen to want to get in on the action. They want a slice of the American pie. How do you know that? Gogglebox. Oh yes, it's the first celebrity season. We ought to see their reactions to him, you know. Yeah, yes, yeah. I just... look, I would welcome a Chicago team, but it would probably take me quite a lot to get used to. Like, I think it would take a lot of time for you to get used to a team in Vegas. Yeah, but with Vegas, I can see the possibilities in helping to drive ticket sales, so that's why I'm kind of sort of being lenient with that. But is that the only thing? Well, I think that's a bit petty, boy. That's a bit petty. Because imagine if we have Denver, which we're going to come on to next. If we have Denver and Chicago, that's two more teams close to Minnesota. Yeah, they're only about 2 hours for a flight away. Yeah. So, that really happens. Because right now, we're on an island. If you look at the state right now, that's the makeup of the league right now. You've got the Charge, Victoire, and Steps close by. The Fleet and Cyrus are near each other, I'm guessing. I think they are. My geography's shit, by the way. Then you got the two newbies, the Torrents and Golden Eyes, literally not too far apart. We're all alone on an island, which is probably why we haven't really got any rivalries right now. So we're pretty much all alone on this island. We need more central or mountain time zone teams to bring us some rivalries, but also help our travel. So, yeah, so I think Chicago would work really well. I would really love a team in Chicago, so I think that would be brilliant. And you could just imagine. So obviously, back in the Blackhawks glory days, didn't they have a quite intense rivalry? Because didn't I remember there was a certain incident with Nordy? Keep spinning! Yes! Yeah, so the Blackhawks and Wild supposed to be big rivals? They are, but it's not as intense as the Blackhawks Blues rivalry is, but it is quite intense between those teams. Yeah, because I remember in 2016 they did play a outdoor game. Yeah, they played the Stadium Series, wasn't it? Yeah. So I remember that. And also I remember that incident where somebody was basically assaulting Tommy Hawk on the centre ice. And I believe also Louis and NJ Devil were present. Yeah. Yeah, we're witnesses. So yeah, I think a Chicago team might create an intense rivalry with Minnesota, but hey ho, we could do it a rival. Yeah, so I think that would be really good. I think I'm all for having a team in Chicago, because the setup's there, and I feel that it would be really good. And I think that their chances are really high. Because if they've got the setup, yeah, if they can tick all the boxes right now, then oh my lord, what? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it was just like last week I saw that article, I thought, oh right, and then obviously this week it's been Takeover Tour! So I've not had a chance to record that with Tommy, but I'm going to do it. We're hoping to get published before the first Chicago stop, which of course is our last game before Christmas. Yeah. And then the last league game before Christmas is the 23rd. Yes, but ours in general is the last one for Christmas. Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah. So, can I just get this right? You are keen for a team in Chicago, if one was to come. Yeah. I think it's really good that one of our starts in Chicago, because it's going to have people like you the opportunity to go, right, look, here's how it could work. If you're really being on this naughty, if you're being on the fence, well then here we go. This is the opportunity. I think the matches are... Can I tell you what the match was? Yes. The matches are really interesting. You've got obviously a World Cup Finals rematch, which is like, hey-o, jackpot. First time ever the Takeover Tour, because we didn't have any Takeover Tours with Boston last year. Hey-o. That should be a hot ticket, because it's not every day you're going to get to see a World Cup Finals rematch. Hey-o. That, and given how unpredictable those two sides are when they meet, you're going to be for one hell of a game. Sirens and Torrent's a bit of an interesting one. Yeah. But obviously, maybe Seattle's not too far from Chicago, so maybe they thought, right, it might help a bit of travel a bit. Yeah. But not so it's not going to be a good game. I'm just thinking, if we're thinking of which cities might do better in the first and the second one, it could be Chicago. Because the first match was a World Cup Bars rematch. Second one, it's one of the newbies, and it's the team that's finished the last 2 seasons. Yep. So, yeah, right. So that means, yeah. Right, let's move on to Denver. And speaking of the newbies, the first Denver match is in January. It is. Hold on a go. It's so the first match in Denver is on 25th of January, and that is the Battle of the Newbies. So the Vancouver Golden Eyes versus Seattle Torrent at the Ball Arena, and then on March the 15th, New York Sirens versus the Minnesota Frost. So, do we want to talk matchups first or Denver's chance expansion matchups? Okay, because I've got something to say. We've got Vancouver and Seattle going to be facing each other on a Takeover Tour. Who thought that was a smart move? Because whoever it is, I think needs a raise. Because we already talked about how we thought it was brilliant that the Golden Eyes and Toronto are going to be facing off on opening night. The fact that now, one of these Takeover Tour games, and both of the newbies have got a fair amount. Yeah, I think the Golden Eyes got 5, I think the Toronto have 4. So they've been given a very decent fair amount for their first time at the end of the season. In the league, yeah. For their first season, yeah. That's an easy start, wow, because this rivalry is going to be intense. It's going to be, I can just see this rivalry is going to be so much more better than it is currently in the NHL. The NHL doesn't exist. Nope. Whereas I feel this is going to be day one. Especially how locked and loaded those rosters are. You can just, yeah. And we know at Denver, we know Denver will sell out well. They did it last year. Yep, they briefly took away Detroit's record for the highest attendance of a women's hockey game in the US. That record might be on threat this year. I mean, Seattle's threatening to do it for the Torrents opener. Yeah. You could maybe see Chicago do it. You could maybe see obviously other American cities do it. Like maybe Washington, maybe I don't know. I mean, I've not been commented on those, but yeah. So that record could be broken a handful of times this season. I say bring it on. Yeah. Yeah, but that first match was brilliant. And then we go back to Ball Arena, which is nice. And can we have Nicole? I did say, when I did the Takeover Tour details, I did say please let Nicole Hensley be a healthy scratch because she needs to have that start. She got to do the ceremonial puck drop, which was nice. And Baylor had it for a goal. I've never in all my years of hockey seen a goaltender do the ceremonial puck drop. Never in all my years. That's a real first for me. Yeah. I think if she hadn't been dealing with injury, she probably would have got that start against the Big 12. So really hoping she will be happy scratch and hoping she will be able to play in that game. I'm really glad that we have got a return trip to One Stop last year. Yeah. Because I feel it's going to help if there's any fans in there, in that market, it's going to help develop that even more. Yeah. Especially when you now look at markets that haven't got teams and they're trying to find teams to support for now. It really helps. Yeah. I think yeah, it really helps. Yeah, it really helps. Yeah. So we know that Ball Arena is going to have 2 great matchups. But how high do we feel that chance for expansion? Has to be high. Has to be seriously high. Because we know at Denver. Well, you saw it on the social media after that game last season. You saw that people were saying, "Oh, that's not bad, given how there was an AFL match on the same time." Absolutely, and it got over 14,000 people. That is brilliant work. And I think it was also a weekend day as well. Yeah, so that was really good. I feel, for me, Denver, I'm really pushing to get a team right now. Because I think, again, like with Chicago, in terms of travel, it works well for us. But I think it would create a more friendlier rivalry than with Chicago. I think Chicago would be an intense rivalry. Yeah. Whereas with Denver, it would be a friendly rivalry. Like how, back in the glory days of the California Gauntlet, my rivalry with these two was intense. Oh yeah. The players pretty much wanted to try and kill each other. Yup! But my rivalry with Ducky was more of a friendly rivalry. There was a rivalry to it, but it wasn't as intense as the Sharks Kings one was. That. And I think if we put markets, if we put teams in the markets of Chicago and Denver, I think that would be how it goes. So Chicago would be the really intense rivalry, and Denver would be the more sort of friendly rivalry, the one you wouldn't mind seeing be played, compared to the other one. That's the way I see Denver. And I think it's a really good market. It's a very successful market. I believe, in terms of the AHL, whenever Colorado goes to the Stanley Cup Finals, they win. Yeah. There you go. So it's a 96, 2001, 22. There you go. So whenever Colorado's been to the Stanley Cup Finals, they have won the Stanley Cup. Not many teams can say that. Florida can't. Florida can't! Vegas can't! And we can't, because we did go to the finals in 1993 and lost. Yeah. And lost, yeah. Yeah. So, but not many markets can say that, but Colorado can. So we know that Colorado is a really successful market. Despite the history, despite the fact you have to obviously to understand how Colorado got the Avalanche, you have to go back to the Nordiques and how that ended up in complete disarray, and it's never been, and the wounds have never healed since 30 years on. They brought out those Nordiques throwbacks this year, which are another major blood ball. Don't get me started. Don't get me started on that. Just don't. And Carolina as well, it's like, just please, no, do not get me started on that. Don't. No. So I feel the potential's there. I think Denver would be really great. I would love to have Denver in the league, and I think it would work really well for us in terms of travel. I think it would be huge help. We need more teams close to us right now in order to, develop those rivalries and just help the travel. Because we just, absolutely. Because we don't want, because while we're open to literally everyone being put in the league, we don't want teams so far out it makes it hard to get to. Because all these logistics that the men don't think about, the women do. Like, for instance, travel and costs. So, because the men just like, that's all sorted for us. And it's one of the many reasons why I just feel more involved with the women's game, because I feel women don't take these little things for granted, whereas the men do. Right, so let's go now to Edmonton. So Edmonton have 2 games. One of them is us. That's our first game back from Christmas. On the 23rd of December, the Minnesota Frost versus Vancouver Golden. And then the second one is the last game of the tour. That'll be on the 7th of April. Boston Fleet versus Vancouver Golden. Both those games take place at Rogers Place, Edmonton, Alberta. Okay. Can we do match first? Because I just feel, and I did mention this, I do feel kind of sorry for the Golden Eyes. They've got 5 stops on this Takeover Tour this season. And 2 of them are Edmonton. And they're both the home team for both games. Now, if I was a Golden Eyes fan, and I saw this is our Takeover Tour schedule, I'd be feeling a little bit mixed and a little bit envious about the other teams get to go literally all over the place. But I'm trying to think of a cow argument here, but I can't. I know. You can't hit it. You can try. Should we come back to you, lady? Have you got any thoughts? Well, I've got more thoughts about Edmonton Hold than I have got this. Because I feel Edmonton this season is really trying to push for a women's hockey team. They've got both Canadian legs of the rivalry series. And by the way, the US only needs to win one of those 2 games next month, and we have the series. I know, you told me all about it last week. Yeah, you basically put it back to me straight away last week, and Dr. Joseph also covered it as well on their recent episode. That's good. And now they've got 2 technical games. I'm sorry, Calgary, but the chances Edmonton landing a team are now very high. Very high? Very, very high. Very, very high! Yeah. Oh, wow! Very, very. Yeah. So what? In the 90s, in the percentages? Yeah. Oh, that is very, very heavy. That is very, very, very high. Yeah, I mean, it has not escaped my attention. Is he still trying to cower? Yeah, right. It hasn't escaped my attention that Edmonton is really pushing hard for women's hockey, particularly this season. Yeah. Now, the Takeover Tour they had last year, it wasn't a sellout, but it got very, very close, I believe. It did. It got very close. So the batter's going to be 2 this time. That gives them 2 or 2 to actually try and sell out and prove it's not just Vancouver, it's not just Quebec. We can sell out too. Because we know how heated the market is in Alberta. Yeah. Edmonton and Calgary hate each other. They literally hate each other. I can't believe in my years of PWHL we've only had one Battle of Alberta. It was quite a bit of a snooze fest. Well, because Edmonton won it in 5. I think we all hoped it to be a best of 7. Right, particularly as, of course, Edmonton knocked us out to get there, and we could have been playing Calgary because they both went the game, because both ours and Calgary and the first one went to 7. We did. Yeah. But if Edmonton gets a team, would Calgary citizens cross the border? They might, but they would probably be very disgruntled. Yeah, but if Calgary really wants a team, then maybe they should go and visit Edmonton and then show people you really want one and make the most of it while you can. And then, but Alberta is a very hostile market because you got Edmonton and Calgary, and they just do not, under any circumstances, like each other. The problem is, the Battle of Alberta hasn't really been as free as it should be, given who is currently on Edmonton's roster. For now, you can't! You can't! We're Edmonton right now, at the time of recording this, how's the playoff line? Exactly! This is the 3rd year in a row the Oilers have had a crap start, and look what they've got on their team. I'm telling you, if it's not this season's trade line, it'll be next season's trade line that Colorado will ask to be traded, and they will shop him to a team to give him a cup. I am calling it now. Okay? Because yes, he'll probably have an Olympic medal by the end of this, by we get to this year's trade deadline. But I'm sorry, that is not good enough in the eyes of men. Which is, that's another discussion we can have about the difference between men and women's hockey. Exactly. We won't do it now. No. Have you got a counterpoint about the goal line situation? No, I didn't think you would. I could do it. I tried before. I can't. Yeah. Who's the other one that plays it? Boston. On the other one. Yeah. That is so odd. I feel that's a bit of an odd matchup. I mean, well, is ours a fair matchup? Or a matchup? Well, given how all 4 of our players lost expansion pros went to Vancouver. Oh, you have the jocks, Tess and Julia. We love you dearly, but can you please stop trying to cause a rivalry between us and Vancouver? They can't let it go. I know. They can't let go of the fact that Vancouver's got a lot of our 4 players, including Michaela Cabba, who they got in free agency. Yeah. So it's like, essentially, they can't stop bringing it up, and I'm like, I know what you girls are doing. I know exactly what you're doing here. Okay, I wasn't born yesterday. This is not my first rodeo, right? Okay, I know exactly what you're doing. Okay, you're trying to create trouble. You're trying to cause a ripple. You are trying to create a rivalry that does not need to exist. Okay, so just quit while you're ahead, girls. Love the show, but stop it now. All right, just stop it. Okay. And we do now know that we actually have got away championship jerseys as well. Oh yes, because I saw a post about the post from the frost the other day showing the road championship jerseys. Yes. When we recorded the championship jerseys episode, we only had heard about the home jerseys because at the time the PHL had not made away jerseys to be purchased yet. but of course they'll have. So we have got away. So we have got away championship jerseys as well. So that means that the first 2 Takeover Tour games of the season, we're going to be in championship jerseys. So that's brilliant. So Chicago and Edmonton, if you want to see what a championship jersey looks like, then get down to those games. But that's good because that expands the pack. Because I think originally it was only 7 that we counted between now and January. Yeah. So that's now going to add a bit more. So that's really good. Good. Really good. Although we don't really notice much differences, do we? No. I have got an away jersey ordered. Gonna have the set. Really good. Because I've been saying that they should also make away jerseys available as well, and they have now, and I've now got my order. It's going to be arriving, hopefully before Christmas, but you can't rely on these sites, can you? No. So, wish me luck. Yeah. So it might be, maybe when we get to the new year, you might see some episodes in the away jersey as well. I'll pick it afterwards. Oh, no, never mind. Got it. Right, there we go. Got it. Never mind. Right, yeah. Yeah. Well, I think the matchup between Aussies is going to be a good one. What is Boston? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they have to play somebody. Yeah. So, yeah. Why not? Yeah. Why not? Yeah. I mean, Evan Franco. Likely. Yeah. So Everton will see a really good net mind duel there, depending on who Banker puts in. Yeah, maybe. Because obviously the jury start period is going to be started on that one. Yes, absolutely. Yes. No, but I just think Everton's chances of the expansion team are very, very high. I mean, you don't make a push like Everton's done this year if you are not serious about having a team. Yes. Absolutely. Agreed. So I just can't see I just can't see a reason why you wouldn't consider them, especially since they're doing so much not for just the PHL, also for international as well. So you think, do you think Edmonton can maybe get one of those future Canadian World Championships? Because we know Quebec's got 27, and then Canada's projected, was it 2013, 30 and 32? Yes, right. So could maybe in 24, 32 Edmonton be seen as a potential host city for those World Championships? Maybe, just thinking. Because Edmonton's really making the push. So, yeah. So if you want to go for the full hog, you may as well go big for World Championships as well. Because we do need to find cities in these projected years. So they give us the countries. Yeah. Okay. So Edmonton, I agree. I think it's a very high candidate as the Canadian side. Right. Finally, it's the elephant in the room, and that is Detroit. So Detroit has got 2 games this year. The first of them, let me find it. I think it's the 26th. Is it? Right, okay. Yes, it is. Thank you, that boy. We've really got a talk. I know. I think we're all a bit like fed up with Detroit now. Okay, January the 3rd. Vancouver Golden Knights versus Boston Fleet. And then the second one is later in the tour. It is March the 28th. York Cyrus versus Montreal Victoire. Okay, so 2 teams that have been to Detroit before and 2 teams that have not. Yes, because Boston went to Detroit in the first Takeover Tour game there, although it was called the Takeover Weekend back then. Mm-hmm. Still counts though. Yeah, still counts. Yeah. It's a Takeover game, so it still counts. Yeah. Then New York did the second visit last year. Mm-hmm. How many more times are we going to keep giving Detroit a game until we cave in and give them a 2? I know. Because there are so... I'm gonna let you finish, and I'm gonna throw the counter, okay? But I know it, you know it is, but because there are so many other markets out there that are interested and would have loved to have got a shout, potentially this year, given how the tour's been expanded. But they have been denied that because we're going back to Detroit just because we know that's a safe bet to draw tickets. I don't think that's right. Well, where would you go instead of Detroit? I think you know where we're going instead of Detroit. He would be saying, let's go to LA, test the California market out and see if we can maybe get a sneak in there. I know, but I know exactly what you're thinking because I was thinking it too. Over the summer I thought, maybe we could get the SoCal go. That's what I was thinking, but unfortunately, it's not this year. But I know what you're thinking. Right, my counter to that is, Detroit has not got the facilities. It's basically, right now, if you're going to go in Detroit, actually in Detroit, okay, it's Little Caesars Arena or bust. Right, there is nowhere else to go to the PHL. And the problem with Little Caesars Arena is there are far too many tents in there, like there is for the Scotiabank Sardo in Calgary. And that is what is going to be stopping Calgary from getting a team anytime soon. Okay? So I've been saying it for time now, again. Get the infrastructure and you'll be sorted. Yeah. Detroit, we know Detroit is one of those markets that is ready to go. You give Detroit a team, the next day, the wheels will already be in motion. The wheels would already be in motion. The Motor City would just plough ahead. They probably would be like Vancouver, would be quite aggressive at it. They would just plough ahead. You know that. Those markets are not what I'm interested in right now. While we're in this growing phase, I'm not interested in markets that I know will be ready this time tomorrow. I'm not interested in that. Okay? Because you're the kind of markets that we could wait for when we're 20, 30 years down the line. Yeah. You just realised what you just said, Dad? Oh shit. You're in your 60s! You're hitting your 60s! Yeah, but by that point we'll have had so many seasons. We'll be in the stage where the league is viable. I don't need to worry about people going, so what's this all about then? Which is where I was to be. No, but Detroit's one of those teams that you could just easily wait for. What I'm interested in right now for expansion is those diamonds in the rough. Markets that people probably wouldn't have thought of, but work, and literally just you know. Because who would have thought Vancouver would have got a shout in this time last year? There you go. No, that. Yeah, so. And this could be the same for Halifax and Chicago this season. Who would have thought they would consider candidates? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I have to agree there with my partner though. I'm getting sick and to death of going back to Detroit. It made sense last year to give them a second go to sort of test the market and see, oh, are they really interested, or was that just like a one-off? Yeah. No, it wasn't a one-off. It worked. Okay, fine. That should have been the point where the league goes, okay, let's give somebody else a go and see how can we maybe get Detroit a team. Yeah. That's what it should have been. That's what it should have been. So, for God's sake, and you're right, are we going to keep giving them a go every single year until we go, right, okay, fine, have your team! Yeah. Have your team! We can hear you loud and clear. Oh no, can you shush please? People are trying to sleep in Australia! Yeah, their cries of we want a team were literally bellowing out of our telly. They were, because they were just like adamant they want it. And we know you want it. We know you have proven that you want it. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, you do not right now fulfill the requirements needed to get a team. Okay? Literally, go and find another arena, Detroit, and we'll talk. Right? Because you can't do Little Caesars Arena. So basically, Detroit, what you need to do is go and find another arena, and then we'll talk. Right? But until then, I don't want to hear from Detroit. Yeah. I don't want to hear from Detroit. Yeah. Because oh god. Yeah, it's just because we know what we're going to expect from Detroit. Yeah. We know what we're going to expect. from Detroit. Isn't one of Detroit games on a double header? Right. What's the thing the first one is? Yes, it is on January the 3rd when we have Torrent and Scepters in Hamilton. So I would be more interested to watch that one that day rather than one in Detroit. Because I know what I'm going to expect from Detroit. It's going to be a packed house. They're all going to scream you on a team. And we're like, yeah, we hear you, but... yeah. It's like, oh, God. Anybody would think we're squatters in that barn. Yeah. Because we just keep coming back every single year. It's like... And I really do get what people are saying, you know. There are markets out there who are interested, but they're not being given a look in because the league can't let go of Detroit. It's like they're holding very tight on that leash and they're not letting go. But it's like, you know that Detroit does not meet all the criteria. So why are we still banging that drum when the other markets that are going to meet the criteria, we can just get in now. Yeah. Like, just don't. So that's why, if we're going to do four expansion teams, then leave Detroit off the table. Okay, Halifax has got everything, Chicago's got everything, Ed's got everything, Den's got everything. Leave Detroit off the table, there's your four. If we want to do it based on these dual cities, there's your four, right there. Right there is your four. Okay, but the league cannot let go of Detroit, and it would not surprise me if we keep seeing a Takeover Tour game in Detroit until Detroit lands a team. But it's not going to work. Unless you are prepared to go outside Detroit, so you're supposed to go somewhere else in Michigan, it ain't going to happen. It is not going to happen in Detroit. Sorry, end of discussion. End of discussion. It is not going to work in Detroit until Detroit can build a new arena. I'm sorry, but them's the breaks. I don't like it any more than you guys. But I'm sorry, them's the breaks, okay? So Detroit, deal with it, okay? Just deal with it, alright? Now, I'm sure there are plenty of other cities in the state of Michigan as a whole that could do it. But if you want to go to Detroit as a whole, ain't gonna happen. They've not got infrastructure. So let's not even dare try and talk to Detroit's chances, because I just feel they are nowhere near. So basically just Google cities in Michigan and go, could that work? Yep. It's just, I'm so lucky we're not in Detroit. Because I'm just like, well, we know what to expect! Yeah. We know what to expect! It's better little season we go now. We've had two already, and we're now going to have another two. That's 4 for Detroit. Yep. Bloody hell. They really want to go to Detroit, don't they? Well, then make the effort. Try and look at, could you maybe build an arena yourself? They just need another state-of-the-art arena like these Little Caesars or something decent, and it'll be fine. It's just right now it's not going to work. I just can't see it working right now. It's just not going to work for me. I just don't. Now, I'm not saying Detroit's a bad market. I think Detroit would be a great market for the league, but unfortunately, you don't meet all the criteria. So, and for me, I don't want it to be like the AHL where we just let anybody and everybody in. We need to have the right markets that are right for the league and will work for the league long term. And right now, Detroit can't meet that. So, okay, so that's as a whole. Yes, as a whole. So we have 5. So we have these 5 cities who will all get to have 2 games. Are these, and this is the big question we need to ask, are these the likely candidates for the next round of expansion, whether it's 2 or whether it's 4? Yes, we'll all agree on that. Yes. Otherwise, why would you give these cities multiple games if you were not seriously considering if they could be a future expansion markets? Yeah. And given the tickets over from Halifax, they've proven really well that they really want to be a part of it, so that's really good. Obviously, we need to see the actual games themselves to actually see the proof there. Okay. proof of the pudding. And there's someone going to ring that up for you. Brought up American Pie. I didn't mean to. It just it's the first thing in my head as a metaphors. Yeah. So. It's interesting because I don't know. Did we think of any of these as potential candidates when we talk about who we could put in? Don't think we did. No, I don't think we did. No. Apart from Denver. No, just Denver. Yeah. Yeah. So. Right, but it's really interesting how you are going to see 6 stops get multiple games, which is really good. Because if you get to this expired tour, because there were 20 TBDs on that when the schedule came out in October, and you have to wonder, could there all these be Takeover Tour? Oh, well, I initially thought maybe 12 of them were going to be Takeover Tour games, and then everybody would then get one neutral site game in their respective markets. So like how the Scepters going to Scotiabank for one night, and how Big 12 go to Belser for one night. Yeah, I thought maybe that could happen, but clearly that's not going to be the case. No. The Big 12 Scepters they most likely still will happen. There are 2 other TVDs which we don't really clue about because they are home games. Because one of the home game with the Cybers, and the other home game with the Fleet. So they are serious question marks there, but we'll worry about those when we get near the time. Yeah. So yeah. I feel you've got your 4. So you just want to take Detroit out. Yeah. Detroit's not ready. Sorry. Until you meet all the criteria, you're not ready in my eyes. So Detroit's not ready. Just take them out. Take them out of the equation. No. So you have your 4. Chicago, Denver, Edmonton, and Halifax. The question is, how far along are they in terms of game expansion? And are they logistically can they work? Yeah. So yeah, especially as not many of us really know where Nova Scotia is. Would that then be a sticking point for Halifax? Are you too far out from the US teams? Yeah. So that'd be the Flute, Torrent, Sirens, us. Yeah. And then potentially other new US teams that go in. Yeah, let's say Denver, Chicago. Yeah. So yeah, so you have to look at logistics. If you know the 4, you've got to look at logistics and see. Oh well, yeah. But I think Chicago's really interesting, particularly that setup. Yeah. Yeah, because the also area, it's only got the walls, and that's it. So we can easily slot in there nicely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think Chicago will be interesting. Edmonton's just going to cause carnage. Well, because Calgary's going to be like, why not us? I know, right? It's like, yeah, right, that would be the same if you went to Calgary and Edmonton's like, why not us? We showed you more love than them. No, it's just, I think what happens in Alberta, it's going to create one side of the board is going to upset your ways. Just do it. If Edmonton is proving really aggressive to want to get a team, just let them have it. Yeah, because the Providence as a whole is a die-hard hockey market. We know it works, so just let them in. Let them have it. Let them have it. And of course, Calgary, we're not saying no forever. It's just maybe one day you could get it. Say if, like with Ottawa, the Stars is building a new arena. Say if the Flames were building a new arena, you could then look at that and maybe it's a possibility to then get the PHL there. Yeah. But I don't know if the Flames are doing that. The Senders one, well, that's just the time of that is all over the place now. Yeah, as a whole, yeah, I mean, Edmonton. If we had to have at least one Alberta city in right now, I think Edmonton, just because they're more ready than Calgary. But it's good that Calgary is going to be on the tour. Yeah. Yeah. I bet they're going to try, look, we got this many people! And then the coach is like, yeah, we got this many people in 2 games. You really have to reduce it to schoolboy antics in the local Weatherspoons. Now he's thinking, let's crack open the cherries! Yeah, well, we are getting close down the show, guys. Yeah. So Calgary could be one day in terms of Alberta, but I think for right now, Edmonton. That's what goes on that matter. Okay, yeah, that's what goes on that matter. Yeah, but you just know they're gonna just want to play, tit for tat and just go, this is what we had, and da da da. So Chicago, Denver, Detroit, Edmonton, and Halifax will all host 2 stops on the Takeover Tour. So it's really interesting, doing that, because obviously with the expanded tour, you have got the opportunity to then do multiple stops in, multiple games in the same stop. Yeah. Might have been too big of a logistic to do the double headers in the same stop. Yeah, but maybe, who knows? Maybe that could happen one day, maybe, but who knows? Yeah. Yeah. So it's really exciting, and I think those 5, because this year we look at the tour. We're looking at the Takeover Tour different this year. This year we are looking at the Takeover Tour, going, think, right, could this market be in the league this time next year? Yeah. That's how we now need to look at the tour going forward, because it's clear this tour is not just helping to grow the game, grow our reach, it's also being used as a testing ground for expansion. Yeah. So we now need to look at every single market gets the game and go, right, could that work full time? Yeah. Could that work full time? I think with these 5, they're the ones we need to keep a very, and I do mean very close eye on. Yeah. A very close eye on. Because they could be the ones that could be contenders for the next round, wherever that might be. Yeah, we could really do with a timeline, because we're all thinking it's going to be next year, but what if it's not? And if so, how many teams? That I think is what we need to know, is how many teams. Are you going to go for 2, or are you going to go for 4? Well, I've already given a suggestion how you could do 2, 26, 27, and 2, 27, 28. So, if we're doing these 4, then I would say 26, 27, Denver and Edmonton, and then 27, 28, Chicago, Halifax. That's what I'd say. Well, then give Halifax one more Takeover Tour. Like how Detroit got a second game last year. I'd say make Halifax wait a little bit longer. Give them another Takeover Tour game this following season, just to reiterate what we already suspect, and then you go, yeah, it's working. Just say, yeah. Yeah, we don't know. It could be 2 teams, it could be 4 teams, it could be next year, it could be a year, 2 years time. We do not know, but we could really do an update time. Yeah. It'll be quite pushing it if they do want expansion next year. It's going to be quite pushing it in terms of announcement, because regular season ends on April the 25th. The tour ends April the 7th. If they want to do what they did last year and wait till after the tour, that's going to be quite hard to do, won't it? But it depends on who they choose. Because if they choose these 5, then you could easily get away with announcing before the tour is over. Because the cities that are consideration will have had theirs. Yeah, but it's just the code thing, isn't it? Yeah. So what do you guys think? Do you think any of these 5 cities are going to be like contenders for expansion? What are your thoughts about the game more than one game? Let us know in order to review as always. Yeah. And we're going to try. Yes, we are suspicious. We are going to try and get as many Takeover Tour games as we can. Any that we do not watch live, we will watch their replays, and we of course will in the summer of 2026 do what we did this summer and do a massive recap of the whole tour. Depending on how long each segment is, we might do it as a 2-parter. Because last year, because the last season we managed to get it done in one show because we only 9 stops. This year we've been 16. It might need to be a 2-parter, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We're going way too ahead there. Yeah. So Chicago, Denver, Detroit, Edmonton, and Halifax. They are the 5 of the 11 cities on this year's Takeover Tour that are hosting more than 2 games. Will they be the main candidates for expansion? We will have to wait and see.